As 2023 has ended, it's unquestionably clear that this year has shaped up to be one of the most successful periods in WWE history, with so many great matches, special appearances, and returns. Despite a few setbacks, such as Jimmy Uso's unnecessary heel turn, WWE still broke attendance records and achieved impressive ratings. Let's revisit some of the greatest moments of 2023. One guy that everybody knows very well, The Rock, made shockwaves with an unexpected return to WWE in September of this year. Over the past decade, The Rock's appearances in WWE have seen a steady decline, with his last appearance dating back to 2019. Fast forward 4 years, and The Rock made a surprise appearance on the first episode of SmackDown in WWE's New Endeavor era. When The Rock's music hit the crowd, they went completely insane. Austin Theory thought he would tell The Rock about himself until The Rock told him to shut his bitch ass up and showed Austin how it goes when he comes out.
But let me go ahead and tell you.
Shut your bitch ass up!
The Rock even got the crowd involved in some chants right before he delivered his trademark People's Elbow to Austin Theory, and then he instructed McAfee to deliver a People's Elbow to Austin as well. It's always a good segment when The Rock makes a special appearance. Then he ran into John Cena backstage as well. Since we're talking about returns, then how about when a backlash when Carlito returned and took out the Judgment Day? Talk about a crowd going wild. Being from the Attitude Era, I was shocked and had goosebumps because he was one of my favorite wrestlers growing up. His slogan was the best. He would say, "I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool."
I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool.
This was one of the biggest returns of 2023 ever. Nobody would have guessed that this would have happened. And you know he had to pull out the apple. One of the coolest wrestlers. Let's go to a historic event of NXT, when it was announced that AEW's Dynamite would temporarily shift to Tuesday for one night. Both rival companies ensured that neither would lose in ratings. WWE swiftly countered by announcing a star-studded lineup for NXT to go head-to-head against Dynamite. Some of the biggest names, including Cody Rhodes, John Cena, Paul Heyman, and Asuka, were slated to make appearances. The episode lived up to the hype, starting with Cody Rhodes kicking off the show. Later, Jade Cargill showed up to meet with Shawn Michaels. In the main event, Paul Heyman accompanied Bron Breakker into the ring, while John Cena escorted Carmelo Hayes, and even though Bron lost, he proclaimed himself as the badass. Then, in a historic moment, The Undertaker made his first ever appearance on NXT to confront and deliver a chokeslam to Breakker. Fans knew that NXT was going to be stacked with major segments, and the entire episode indeed turned out to be historic. Now, we can't talk about 2023 moments without mentioning the passing of one of the greats and respected wrestlers and friend to all in Bray Wyatt. He was one of a kind. This was a hard one for all in wrestling. The era of Wyatt was incredible, especially his entrance to the ring, where everybody held up their white lights. Bray was a master in the ring and on the mic. From his different characters like Husky Harris, FCW's Duke Rotundo before NXT, Deleter of Worlds, the new face of Fear, the Wyatt family, Firefly Funhouse, and The Fiend, his matches were something that you didn't want to miss. His contribute done by WWE was tear-dropping. He still has the whole world in his hands. How about when Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso forming an alliance was the last thing anyone expected, but their on-screen chemistry turned out to be exceptional. Despite Jay's defeat at SummerSlam, his popularity continued to skyrocket. After a month-long hiatus, Cody brought Jay back to Monday Night Raw, where he joined Cody in a feud with the Judgment Day. In a surprising turn of events, Cody and Jay secured the undisputed tag team championships at Fastlane. However, it was their antics during the post-PLE press conference that stole the show. Jay and Cody seemed to be under the influence and couldn't stop saying yeet and laughing in response to any random question. This had to be one of the funniest interviews ever in the WWE.
But, full disclosure, Uda and I might have had a libation or two on the bus.
Let's turn to Becky and Charlotte reunite. Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair's once inseparable friendship crumbled in 2018, igniting a bitter real-life rivalry between them. The tension reached a boiling point during an awkward title exchange in 2021, leading to a backstage fight. After 2021, the two women avoided crossing paths until late 2023. As Survivor Series 2023 approached, in kayfabe, Charlotte needed an extra team member in her corner to fight the damage control. To everyone's surprise, the unexpected addition turned out to be Bex. This marked their first on-screen interaction in nearly 2 years. Lynch and Flair emotionally hugged it out at War Games, burying the hatchet between them. Nobody expected to see two really shocking returns in one night. At Survivor Series, as Damian Priest was attempting to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase, Randy Orton's music hit, and when Randy came out, everybody in the ring just froze in complete shock. After being out for almost 1 year and a half after being put on the shelf by Usos, he returns in better shape than ever, taking out anybody in his path. If that wasn't enough, imagine the shock everybody was in when CM Punk returned, as he took the energy coming from the crowd as he walked towards the ring, and you can see Seth Rollins wasn't happy at all. However, the closing moments of Survivor Series were truly historic. Both Randy and Punk managed to have their moments without overshadowing each other. How about when Rey Mysterio finally snaps? In the lead up to WrestleMania 39, Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio had one of the best rivalries that was growing increasingly bitter every day. After Dominic betrayed Rey at Clash in the Castle, he embraced a darker persona and held a grudge against his father. Out of spite and haughtiness, Dominic kept challenging his father to a one-on-one match, but to no avail. For nearly 6 months, Rey never retaliated against his son. However, Dominic took things further when he disrespected his mother just 8 days before WrestleMania 39. Rey, who'd bottled up his emotions, couldn't bear his family's insult and finally punched his son, leading to the crowd erupting in shock and surprise. Maybe the most shocking moment of 2023 was when Jimmy Uso shatters the bloodline. Even though this moment has now become awkward to look back on, for the time being it was truly iconic. The relationship between Roman Reigns and the Usos was already strained, and everything came to a head at the Night of Champions 2023. Cracks in the bloodline began to show when Roman Reigns couldn't come to terms with the Usos losing their tag titles at WrestleMania 39. In an attempt to assist their cousins, the Usos rushed to the ring to attack Kevin Owens, but an accidental kick to Solo drew an enraged Roman Reigns into the ring. This led to Jimmy delivering a super kick to Roman Reigns, sending the crowd world into a frenzy. As described by Michael Cole, it could be the super kick that ended a dynasty. Gunther's historic Intercontinental Championship reign is next. Before Gunther began his historic reign as the Intercontinental Champion, there was ample uncertainty around the status of that title. However, Gunther is someone different, and he truly personifies his role as the IC Champion. As the ring general, he allows no room for errors and never hesitates to critique his own teammates. While Cody Rhodes emerged victorious in this year's Royal Rumble match, it was Gunther who stood out as the true MVP throughout the entire Battle Royale. 2 months later, at WrestleMania 39, Gunther was part of one of the greatest triple threat matches of all time, alongside Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. In September, following a hard-fought battle with Chad Gable, the ring general surpassed the Honky Tonk Man's 454-day reign to become the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion in history. Let's talk about the chair strike heard around the world. The biggest twist in the Bloodline story occurred when Sami Zayn ultimately betrayed Roman Reigns during the closing moments of Royal Rumble 2023. Following Roman's successful defeat of Kevin Owens, the Usos and Solo Sikoa began their brutal assault on Owens. Meanwhile, Sami, who'd been visibly uneasy with the entire situation, finally reached a breaking point and delivered a chair shot to Roman. This shocking moment led to a massive ovation from the crowd. However, witnessing Jey Uso walk out was what truly touched everyone's hearts. As time has passed, this moment has aged remarkably well and has gone down as one of the greatest PPV endings of all time. Who would have thought that Lesnar would acknowledge Cody? The sudden rivalry between Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes didn't initially make sense, as Brock attacked him without any reason. After 2 matches that were far from perfect, Brock and Cody aimed to settle things at SummerSlam 2023. Even though the match was satisfactory, the ending concluded the rivalry perfectly. Cody emerged victorious and maintained his superiority, and there was a look of respect in Brock's eyes for Cody. Unexpectedly, Lesnar offered his hand to a surprised Rhodes and proceeded to walk him around the ring, raising his arm and acknowledging Cody as the guy. It was an unexpected moment for sure, as it was a rare display of affection from Lesnar. Jey Uso defeats Roman Reigns. 10 years ago, Jey Uso became the first wrestler to pin Roman Reigns. A decade later, the story came full circle when Jey once again became the first wrestler to pin an undefeated reigns of 3 years. The story of the bloodline reached its peak when Jimmy broke ties with Roman, and Jey followed suit.
So guess what? You out, and I'm out too.
Oh my God!
The stage was then set for the Bloodline Civil War at Money in the Bank in London, in a grueling match and hard-fought battle with countless near falls. Towards the climax, the crowd erupted through the roof when Jey finally got the upper hand and pinned Roman Reigns. Jey, who was entangled with the Bloodline since 2020, proved to be the right man for the job. Bad Bunny's electric entrance. Bad Bunny has cemented his status as arguably one of the greatest celebrity wrestlers in WWE after his exceptional match against Damian Priest. The crowd in San Juan, Puerto Rico, during Backlash reached an unparalleled level. During his entrance, the crowd sang along as if it were a concert, creating an incredible atmosphere. The energy throughout the entire match was off the charts. The match lived up to expectations, featuring brawling around the arena, an abundance of weapons, and a multitude of cameos and interferences. Another crazy moment was when Logan Paul won the United States Championship at Crown Jewel. It was a match between him and Mysterio. Mysterio went for a 619 when Logan picked up the brass knuckles and knocked out Mysterio when he jumped from the ropes, and Logan covered him for the 1-2-3. Many thought he was just going to have a good match, but it turned out to be totally different. Nobody thought a match between John Cena and Solo Sikoa would end up with Solo completely dominating Cena and pinning him to win the match at Crown Jewel. John called this match a must-win to silence his self-doubt. This might be the final time we'll see John Cena in a WWE ring. What a way to end the final PLE of 2023. And now that we're in 2024, let's see what will happen next and what shockers await us. Check out the OMG moments in this video right here.